A lot of Birdsong songs begin with me finger-picking guitar, and I'll try out alternate tunings or capos or finger-pick patterns or something like that. And sometimes you stumble onto something that's interesting. A lot of times in the course of playing around with your fingers, the guitar itself starts to suggest melodies, and Midnight Vespers is one of the songs where the melody of the song really comes right out of the guitar playing. The guitar part really always felt really good to me, full, complete, and I could hum a melody, but it was actually not all that singable a melody for me. And because of that, I started thinking, well, is this a song? Maybe it should just be an instrumental. But somebody else had made a comment to me that they just loved the vocal harmonies that Greg and Darlene do, and couldn't we do more songs where they sang? And I thought, yeah, we could do, because I'm not able to sing this one. Maybe if we collectively started singing it, it would give the song a different flavor and make it complete. And it actually was great because it freed me from figuring, well, how am I gonna sing this? And thought, well, no, how are we going to sing it? So that took the pressure off me. Didn't make it any easier to finish the song. And what happened with this particular one is that we got in the studio and I had the lyrics, I had a complete song written, but we hadn't really figured out, yeah, okay, we're all gonna sing, but what are we all gonna sing? Hadn't really been determined. So we worked on it a couple of phrases at a time and would record them and say, I don't like it, let's change this. Okay, got it. And then move on to the next phrase. And we did it pretty much all in one recording session, and therefore never even listened back to it all put together in one piece. That's something that I would do with editing after the fact. So Darlene and Greg and I went home, and a couple of days later, I think I went back and put it together as an edit and sort of sat back and said, oh my God, it really worked. It really came out as sort of a choir, a choral, sort of Midnight Vespers quality was there on the track. I was really happy to hear that. And then I realized, okay, guitar and vocals are sounding really good, but it's missing some underpinning. So I asked Greg to come back in and said, maybe bass on this. And so he came up with a part that it's nice because in the arrangement, all the stuff is sort of in the upper register, but the bass end is Greg's alone. And he played just this incredibly beautiful, nuanced, and I think in terms of the record, this is where you really hear Greg Porter come out as an instrumentalist. I think there's really no one that quite plays like Greg. And this is a great example of how his playing really supports pretty much everything we do in Birdsong. And then the other instrumentation came about sort of as, well, okay, how do I add to that in a way that helps make it interesting as an arrangement, but doesn't really take over? And I thought back to a similar song, really, when you think about it, Simon and Garfunkel's version of Scarborough Fair, a delicate finger-picked guitar, multiple overdubbed harmonies, moving around, kind of got that choral choir quality to it. And there's this really cool bell part that plays around with the guitar part in it. So I kind of stole that idea. And then if you listen to Midnight Vespers, you'll say, oh, exactly, I see where you did that. And I added to that with an instrument I've just been playing, a Cambodian instrument, the khum, which is like a hammered dulcimer. I've been playing some Cambodian music. And so I doubled that up with the bell, with the guitar and the choral work and the bass. And suddenly we had this really sort of lacy arrangement that we all kind of were shocked that it came out as well as it did. So Midnight Vespers is a song that was always unfinished and who knew? And then suddenly I think it's one of the standouts on the record.